Good morning, class. The chapter for today is Footprint Without Feet. It is written by H.G. Wells. The learning objective of the chapter is to enrich your vocabulary and also to help you read the lesson with proper intonations. The story revolves around a unique scientific discovery that completely changes the life of the protagonist named Griffin. A man of refined scientific expertise, he develops a drug that can make a man invisible. It offers invisibility to the naked eyes as long as the consumer of the drug is completely nude. With great power comes great responsibility, but Griffin falls into a life of mischief and trouble. He lives in the city of London and is frustrated by constant nagging of his landlord. He does not get along with his landlord, and so he devises a scheme to make him suffer. Using his invisibility drug, he sneaks into the house and he burns it down to ashes. Unnoticed by anyone, he makes an easy escape. However, he soon finds himself suffering as he was stark naked in the middle of nowhere in a wintry night to survive. In order to save his life, he breaks into a clothing store and scores himself a nice warm pair of clothes. However, one crime leads to another and he ends up stealing cash from the store reserves. When the guards open the door in the morning, they find Griffin with the stolen money, but Griffin manages to escape again. Homeless and on the run, he finds refuge in a new place. He boards a train to a village named Iping. He used the stolen money to afford himself a comfortable stay at an inn. However, his stack ran empty soon and he is again in need of money to pay rent and procure other supplies. Consecutively, he decides to steal some from the money from a man who is a clergyman. When he pays the rent to the owner, Mr. and Mrs. Hall, they suspect some misdoing, and so they reach his room for some clue. They are stopped in their tracks by Griffin, who appears out of thin air. He is covered in bandage and wearing glasses and wears a hat. When questioned about the money, he gets nervous. The owner of the house, the owner of the inn, call the police, and this makes Griffin really anxious. In order to save his tail, he removes his hat, eyewear, and bandages, and his head disappears instantly. There are gasps of horror from the onlooker, and they freeze with terror. The policeman tries to get hold of the headless figure. A scuffle breaks out to overpower the criminal. In the end, invisible Griffin is able to escape the police, and they are left licking his wounds. All that is left are his footprints without any feet. The chapter highlights the fact that with the power that you get, the authority that you get, there's a lot of responsibility that you have to shoulder. As a human being, it should be your desire, it should be your intentions, and very clear intentions about how you would lead your life if you are bestowed with powers. So on this note, we come to the end of the chapter. Thank you, class.